There are countless websites on the internet, each with their own unique contents and URLs. And if you look past the popular ones and do some digging, you can find some pretty obscure ones. But what if I told you there was a website surrounded in mystery that's been hidden in plain sight? On May 20th, 2022, a Reddit user named GoldenGoose44 posted to r/internet mysteries. Something is off with Ford.com. What is this website even used for? He starts off by telling us that while he and his friend were typing in random URLs into the search bar, they came across a cryptic-looking website called Ford.com, a simple word and easy to find website. He states, it has a simple Ford logo in the middle of the page with 3 links at the bottom: login, info, and invite. There is absolutely no information about the purpose of the site, even under info, but it lets you request for access under the invite tab. Before we dive into everything, let's take a look at the website ourselves. As we can see, there is the Ford logo in the middle and 3 links at the bottom. The Ford logo will alternate between the letter version and the number version of Ford. Clicking on login, simply leads to the login tab, requesting an email or username, a password, and an OTP code. Clicking on info tells you a bit of information if you have any questions. How do you get an account? Well, it says here that you need to fill out an invite request to join the queue, and when you are selected, you will get the email. If you were wondering what an OTP code is, well, it tells you right here. An OTP, or one-time password, is a password which changes based on time. To generate an OTP, you will need a physical security token, which includes a 6-digit display. This secures your account. And finally, the website offers a support email for reporting bugs. Heading over to the invite tab, we can request an account by submitting our email. On the surface, this website seems pretty innocent, and maybe it is, but there are some things that seem off that stick out to me. Like, why are they using an OTP for the login? That means you will need a physical item to get the key from. It could be for security reasons, but what is so secure on a website called Ford.com? You should have just chosen a different name. OP goes on to say the following. There isn't much info I can find on the site, except that it has been running since 1995. It is still copyrighted in 2022, as well as the website still having up-to-date certifications. The company running it is apparently called Fortinet Information Network, and doesn't have a homepage anymore, or much info on it for that matter. As for the invite tab, I put in a burner email, and I haven't gotten a response yet. They also found out that the company ran a cooking site, Cooks.com, mentioning how it looks ancient, but is still being updated with cooking recipes, and that there's a link that leads back to Ford.com. He ends the post being suspicious of the website, stating how weird everything looked, highlighting the invite tab, unsure if everything was fake or not. I first want to talk about Cooks.com. Heading over there leads you to, it's just a regular cooking recipe site. Not much else here, but when you scroll all the way down, we can confirm that this is indeed ran by the Fortinet Information Network, the company OP mentioned that ran everything. And next to that, there's a link to another food site, talkfood.com. It's more of a forum site, a place to talk all about food. And again, we can find Fortinet down at the bottom. So, let's go back to what OP said earlier. He mentioned the copyright and the name of the company. Levi0618 replied with a lot more information regarding this. He did some searching and looked up the domain on who.is, and it gave him a bunch of information like a phone number, an email, and the location in West Warren, Massachusetts. He also found that there were 4 name servers under the domain. And you can see that all of these, and then some, have a history with redirecting you to Cooks.com. It's kind of strange, but the next thing he did was look up the company name Fortinet Information Network, which gave him a DNB site, and it gave him a more accurate location, still in West Warren. Yeah, I don't know what this is. He describes it as an abandoned house or a holiday house, but Google claims this is where Fornet is, labeling it as an internet service provider, with 2 ratings. Joe Burkett seemed to really love his experience. I'm very happy for him. So Levi did a little more digging on the Wayback Machine. Going back to 1996 on 4.com, the site claims this: Fornet is a full-service internet access provider for Massachusetts, utilizing the power of our network of Sun Sparsity stations and DEC Ultra. Okay, that's enough. Basically, it seems like this was a legitimate internet service provider, helping people access the internet. He said, "If you ask me, this is an old or abandoned internet service provider for Massachusetts, and there is nothing freaky/creepy here." He finds it weird that the website used to redirect you to cooks.com, and sure enough, it did, starting in mid to late 2010. The current site, as we all know and love, began in December of 2021. The commenter ends by saying, "There are still a lot of questions, like, what's up with that house? Why did this site change so many owners? Why is the site related to 2 or 3 different cook sites? This website is already strange enough, given the weird details of Fornet. But there's one more thing people noticed, and this just gets even weirder. Someone named Capable Armadillo mentioned how it looked like a regular enterprise SSO, a security measure that a lot of businesses have. SSO meaning single sign-on, which is what we see here in the login screen. But because this company has almost no history behind it, and really has no use today besides hosting cooking websites, you gotta wonder why. So it's not like they forgot about it. However, there's one more thing the commenter left: a link. What is this? Well, this is an API. If you're wondering what an API is, it's a set of functions or code that allows developers to use shortcuts. So, if we go back to 4.com, click Fornet down at the bottom, we see some network statuses, like 4Network, Midas, and DNA Chain. Let's focus on Midas for now. The website uses both Midas and Midas API, and looking at the source code, it mentions Project Midas. What the commenter linked was an API called Midas, an API used to detect mental illnesses in social media accounts. I know, it's kind of bizarre, but seeing nucleotides and nucleobases in the source code, as well as the chain in the background being called DNA chain, some things are starting to add up. Now, that's most likely not the case, because there are several more Midas APIs out there. Like, there's another one for compiling medical records for research, and there's another one called Project Midas that's used for NFTs. And that's where that conversation ended. It's still a mystery as to what Project Midas is and why it's on this website. The only other conversation on this website I could find was another Reddit post on April 2023 trying to reignite the search. This is definitely a weird rabbit hole. It seems innocent, it's most likely a remnant of an old company, but it's hard to say. Let me know what you think of this. Do you think there's truly something behind that login screen? Or do you really think they just love cooking? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.